at verse 32. For as now of the days that are past, which were before thee, since the day that Elohim created man upon earth, and as from the one side of heaven unto the other, whether there have been any such thing as this great thing is, or have been heard like it. And you will never hear it because this is a wonder. It's one of a kind, it's one hit, it's very special, and it's very exclusive. Did ever people hear the voice of Elohim speaking out of the midst of the fire, as thou hast heard and live? Or has Elohim essayed to go and take him a nation from the midst of another nation by temptations, signs, wonders, and by war? And praise Yahweh, our beloved Mowreh IshYAH did a very great job last night dealing with the war of the Almighty and how Yahweh will bring war at the fourth season, the fourth time, the fourth order. And it was very beautiful what Yahweh has shown us through his scriptures of truth through his servant. And now tonight I will be dealing with the next, which is the fifth, by a mighty hand, and the sixth by a stretched out arm. And to understand the wisdom of the Almighty, you must understand his orders, you must understand his signs. Just as Mowreh IshYAH was pointing out about war at the fourth season, we know the fourth season, the fourth time, the fourth order represents Yah's praise. And if you know about the fifth represents Yah's increase. This is why the covenant of day is the fifth covenant, because the day represents Yah's increase. This is why the book of Psalms 104 will tell you that when the sun rises, men will go about to do their what? Their work. They will go about the day to get their increase. The fifth, Yahweh said if you wanted to borrow out of your tithes, you had to pay back a fifth. In other words, you got to pay back an increase. The fifth commandment, Yahweh said, honor your father and mother that your days may be long. In other words, you can increase your days. You can increase your years by just keeping the fifth commandment. And we know all these orders, from 1 all the way to 7, they get their purpose, they get their order from the original wonders, the original orders, which is the days of the week. Like Mowreh IshYAH pointed out beautifully, the fourth day Yahweh created the lights and the heavens to divide day from night. And this is why you will see things being divided in the fourth order. Things getting divided during the time of war. But when you look at the fifth day, after Yahweh has already began to work, to creating the light in the heavens and the lights in the heavens and creating the earth, he already had began to work. But at the fifth day is when you begin to see the increase of the Almighty's works. You begin to see the Almighty use words like abundant, bring forth abundantly, be fruitful, multiply. He began to use this word blessed, which is a word that means increase. For there is no blessing without increase. So when you see this fifth, you know that Yahweh is something about to increase. Let me show you this in Psalms, the 8th chapter. And if you know anything about the 6th, which we'll touch on tonight as well, all over the scriptures, Yahweh has shown us the 6th order. The 6th season is about a double portion, a double blessing, double trouble. It's a double. And on the 6th day, Yahweh blessed man and he blessed beasts. So tonight we're dealing with Yahweh said he would deliver. He would take the nation of Israel from the midst of another nation. And at the fifth order, he said, by a mighty hand. And then at the sixth, he said, by a stretched out arm. And you know these two are closely connected. For what is a hand without an arm? What is an arm without a hand? But like the scriptures say, wisdom is the principal thing, but with all you're getting, you must get understanding. Know the role. Know the wisdom on why Yahweh would even say a mighty hand and then a stretched out arm. What's the difference? What do Yahweh want us to see in these two things? One scripture I want to take you to, Psalms, the 8th chapter. The 4th verse is, what is man that thou art mindful of him, and the son of man that thou visitest him? For thou hast made him a little lower than angels, and hast crowned him with glory and honor. Thou madest him to have dominion over the works of your hands. Thou hast put all things under his feet. All sheep, oxen, and the beasts of the field, the fowl of the air, the fish of the sea, and whatsoever passes through the paths of the seas. O Yahweh, our Yahweh, how excellent is thy name in all the earth. So one thing that you got to know about Yah. We all believe, we all think that when Yahweh made everything in 6 days and rested on the 7th, that all he did was just speak. But what you want to know about Yah is that he don't just speak. He got hands for a reason. If it were just about speaking, when he came to Egypt to deliver his people, all he would have had to do was just speak. But no, it said he delivered us with a mighty hand, a hand that's mighty, and a stretched out arm. And Yahweh has told us right here in the book of wisdom, he made us to have dominion over the works of his hands. See, he spoke, but then his hands made it come forth. His hands is where the blessing came from. Let me show you this. Psalms 102, verse 25. I know you might have never considered this, but Yahweh's hands are something that you might have been overlooked. Psalms 102, verse 24. I said, O my Elohim, take me not away in the midst of my days. Thy years are throughout all generations. Of old hast thou laid the foundations of the earth, and the heavens are the work of your hands. See, Yahweh does works with his hands. He actually do things with his own hands. Just like he wrote the 10 Commandments. Said with the finger of Elohim, he wrote them commandments on them 2 tables of stone. So yes, before you understand this mighty hand that Yahweh brought to the land of Egypt, you must understand the hand of Yahweh, period. And I'm going to show you why. There's one more verse on this, Psalms 138. Psalms 138, and actually 2 more. Psalms 138. Verse 7, though I walk in the midst of trouble, thou wilt revive me. Thou shalt stretch forth thy hand against the wrath of my enemies, and thy right hand shall save me. Yahweh will perfect that which concerneth me. Thy mercy, O Yahweh, endure forever. Forsake not the works of thy own hands. Yes, you don't realize that Yahweh's hands is literally upon his works. You might can't see his hands, but yes, his hand is everywhere. His hands is doing a lot of things. His hands is touching a lot of things. And his servants, his hand is upon them. He formed them from the womb. He brought them through the matrix. He raised them up. And this is why you have to be careful when you're dealing with Yahweh's servants. Because Yahweh's servants is fashioned directly by the hands of the Almighty. Let me show you this other powerful scripture in the book of Isaiah. And you will get it all in a second. It'll all make very much sense to you. Isaiah the 60th chapter, verse 21. Thy people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever. The branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. And see, Yahweh is going to work this thing out. He's working. He's doing a lot of works in the earth. But his works is being underestimated. His works is being unseen. They ain't being paid attention to. Look what the Almighty said in the next chapter. The spirit of Yah Elohim is upon me, because Yahweh has anointed me to preach good tidings. So you don't even realize that the spirit of Yahweh is in his hands. And he can touch you with his hands by just putting his spirit on you. Look what it says going down further. The third verse, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of Yah. See, Yahweh is actually going to plant. This is not metaphorically. This is literally. He's going to plant trees of righteousness, the planting of Yah, that he might be glorified. Now let me show you why this makes sense. Go with me, Proverbs, the 3rd chapter. Proverbs, the 3rd chapter. The 19th verse reads, Yahweh, by wisdom, has founded the earth. And as you know about the earth, as I already showed you, the earth is the works of Yahweh's hands. That's the work of his hands. By understanding has he established the heavens. So if wisdom has founded the earth, by wisdom has he founded the earth, and understanding he established the heavens, what do that let you know? Wisdom is in the hands of the Almighty. Understanding is in the hands of the Almighty. So when he made the earth with his wisdom, it was in his hands. He stretched out the heavens and made the heavens with understanding, but it's still the work of his hands. Go to Ecclesiastes, the 7th chapter. So what am I trying to shine a light? What am I getting to? What I'm trying to show you people is that the mightiness in Yah's hands you might think it's this physical strength that Yahweh does possess, but it's something greater than physical strength. And what Yahweh brought to Egypt was more than just physical strength. When Yahweh created the earth, that wasn't just physical strength. That was the work of his hands, but it was wisdom. The wisdom in his hands. And when he went to Egypt to bring a nation from the midst of another nation, yes, Yahweh used wisdom. He used understanding. The way he approached the whole war that he sprouted up with the Egyptians. If you was listening to Mowreh IshYAH, he pointed out about martial arts and about how the heathen will want you to learn about the art of war. And yes, it is something to learn because it's wisdom when you go to war. It's wisdom. And if you don't have might and strength and wisdom, it don't matter how much strength and might you have in your muscles, your physical strength. That all goes to waste without the mightiness of wisdom. And that's all I'm trying to show you, people. Yahweh founded the earth. Everything he made, he made it through wisdom. It was through the works of his hands, and that's where Yahweh put the wisdom. He put the wisdom in his hands. He put the understanding in his hands. And so now I can understand why he came to Egypt with a mighty hand. Because he was still using wisdom. Like Mowreh IshYAH pointed out last night, Yahweh is not doing nothing random. He's not doing things just out of a feeling. No, all the ways of Yah are judgment. All the ways of Yah are wisdom. All the ways of Yah's understanding. So when he made the earth, he used his wisdom and might. When he made the heavens, he used his wisdom and might. When he made the creatures, all the way to the time that he even brought his works to Egypt to bring forth his name, to bring a nation from the midst of another nation, he was using the same wisdom, the same might. Why you think we can connect all the signs back to the original signs? They all connect. The fourth war, it connects to the fourth day. The fifth, the mighty hand, of course, that's the fifth is the mighty hand. And what makes up a hand? You think it's ironic that it's 5 fingers? No, it's not ironic. Because Yahweh don't do ironic. He don't do coincidence. The hand is made up of 5 fingers because the hand represents increase. But look what it says in Ecclesiastes, the 7th chapter. The 19th verse says, wisdom strengtheneth the wise more than 10 mighty men which are in the city. So wisdom is stronger than physical strength. So you got mighty men. This is talking about men that's strong physically. But then you have somebody with wisdom. They got more strength than 10 mighty men. And so when Yahweh came with his mighty hand, this wasn't just about physical strength. You have to look at the story and see Yahweh's mighty wisdom and how he approached the Egyptians with his temptations, with his signs, with his wonders, with his war. He was very tactical. He was very precise in his judgment. He measured everything out. And it's no different with us. We can't do nothing greater than the Almighty. He made us in his image. And when Yahweh give you wisdom, when he give you understanding, it's going to be in your heart, it's going to be in your spirit, but it's going to manifest through your hands. This is why it says in Ecclesiastes, the 9th chapter, it says in the 10th verse, whatsoever your hand findeth to do, do it with your might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest. Yes, whatever your hand find to do it with your might. You want to have a mighty hand when you're doing something. And to have a mighty hand, it's all about your work, device, knowledge, wisdom. That's what a mighty hand is all about. It ain't about your hand just being physically strong. What a physically strong hand, what is it going to accomplish without the spirit of might? Your hand must know cunningness. Your hand must know wisdom. Next thing you know, you're breaking things, and that things that you should be delicate with. But if your hand is only strong physically, but it has no strength and wisdom, then that hand is worthless. Not completely, but the hand has to learn wisdom. And yes, Yahweh used wisdom upon the Egyptians. Yahweh used wisdom in everything he do. And that's what Yahweh wants you to learn about him. He's wise, understanding, and he's an Elohim of knowledge. This is why he wants us to be a people of knowledge. My people destroyed because they what? They lack knowledge. They don't know how to be a people. Look what it says in Psalms 137. You have to understand that Yahweh is wise. It's not just about physical strength with the Almighty. This is why Yahweh, he's the strongest example of strength. Everything with Yahweh is wisdom. Why you think Yahweh is long-suffering? It takes wisdom to have that kind of strength to suffer for a long time. Why you think the Almighty is gracious, long-suffering, forgiving iniquity? The Almighty has a whole nother level of strength. Why? Because Yahweh has wisdom. And wisdom is strength. Wisdom has strength. But this strength goes beyond, way beyond. Like the scripture says, a wise man is stronger than 10 mighty men in the city. Just one wise man. And this is why you have a wise man that's prudent, got knowledge and understanding, and you looking like, my goodness, how is he lead? He's the leader of all these other men that's stronger than him. That's because they all muscles, but no wits, no brain, no wisdom. But the man with the true strength, he got might in his hands. He got wisdom, cunningness. He don't have the buffness in his arms. He don't have the strength in his arms. He just got it in his hands. But look what it says, Psalms 137, verse 5. If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. Because the truth is this, just like Yahweh, his hand was cunning. The work of his hands. When he architect and made the earth. This was his architecture. This was his design. It was the design of his hand. It was the work of his hand. And it's called cunningness. It's called wisdom. He said he founded the earth upon wisdom. So the fact that the earth is a circle, that ain't random. That's wisdom. The circle is wisdom in that. It's a purpose behind why the earth is a circle. And when you know the knowledge of Elohim, you will begin to understand why the earth is a circle. Why the sun a circle? Why the moon a circle? Why is all these things that's the work of Yah's hand, why is it a circle? Because it's wisdom. And the wisdom is right here in the book, and we'll teach it on it. We're going to give it to you. We're going to show you because it's right here in the book. But she said, let my right hand forget its cunning. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. Because that's the other way that you will exemplify your wisdom. And just like Yahweh, he spoke it, but his hands also worked it. So that's how Yahweh made everything. He spoke it, yes. He said, let there be. He spoke everything into existence. But his hands established it. His hands brought it to life. His hands brought it into fruition. Because otherwise, why would it be called the works of his hands? This is all the works of his hands and his words. Since we're in Psalms, the 18th chapter. Psalms 18, verse 34. This is King David said, he teaches my hands to war. He teach my hands to war. In other words, war is something that I got to learn. And if I'm learning it, it must be knowledge. It must be a wisdom. It must be an understanding to this thing. I can't just go in there fresh out the gym and think just because I'm strong and I can lift 1,000 pounds that I'm about to be able to go to war. When these people over here, they done learned war. They know how to approach a giant when he's got the size. Oh, he got the size, so this is how we're going to chop him down. Because they got prudence. They have knowledge. So whatever you come with, when you got wisdom, you're going to be able to work it out. He teaches my hands to war, so that a bow of steel is broken by my arms. And right there underlines the difference between a hand, a mighty hand, and a stretched out arm. See, the hand, why you think you read the hand first? So you get the number 5. 5 and 6 is always connected. But Yahweh letting you know the hand come before the arm. Because even though these two are connected, one of them leads the other. The arm is following the hand. The hand leads the arm. And so all the wisdom, majority of that wisdom is going to be in the hand. And majority of the physical strength is in the arm. And this is how these two work together. You got one that's got the brains, and you got the other that has the muscle. And so when Yahweh said he's coming with his mighty hand, he's bringing his wisdom, and then a stretched out arm, He's bringing his muscle. And they both go together. They go together. But like he says, let's see this. He teaches my hands to war so that a bow of steel is broken by my arms. And see, your arm can be strong, but all it needs is some wisdom to make it even stronger. You done hold it so you holding it, and you got strength, and you can pull it. You can shoot this thing. But when you get wisdom like, nah, hold it this way, and then angle it that way. Now you're into something different. And next thing you know, you able to break the thing. Because you know you have a knowledge about this bow. You have a knowledge about how to hold it a certain way. Then now you can even break it. And so this shows you the difference. I want to also show you Exodus, the 35th chapter. And see, at the end of the day, people, wisdom is the principal thing. With all you're getting, get understanding. The knowledge of Elohim is that which Yahweh desire, and this is what he chooses for us to indulge ourselves in. And it's beautiful. All of this knowledge is relevant. It feeds your spirit in ways that you don't even understand to get this knowledge. Just like the people was eating manna when they came out into the wilderness, they was eating something that they didn't even realize was strengthening them in a whole nother way that they couldn't even understand. They didn't even understand how that bread did something that they didn't even realize. If they realized it, if they can see it and understand what this bread was really doing for them, man, they be lined up around the corner trying to buy it. Because I know right now, if I can get my hand on some manna, I be done sold everything I got to get some of that bread. Angel food, bread from heaven. Exodus 35. Look what it says in verse 31. And he has filled him with the spirit of Elohim and wisdom and in understanding and knowledge and in all manner of workmanship, to devise curious works, to work in gold and in silver and in brass. Curious work is when you looking at it and you start looking at details. You like, what? How on Yah's earth is this possible to be done? What did he use? What did he do? What kind of craft? How? It's a curious work. You just can't understand and fathom how it can be done. Because you got wisdom. It says, and in cutting of stones, to be able to set them, carving of wood to make any manner of cunning work. And he have put in his heart that he may teach, both he and Aholiab, the son of Asamach of the tribe of Dan. Them has he filled with wisdom of heart to work all manner of work. Like Yahweh said, when he worked, he used his wisdom. And when you begin to work, you want to have wisdom, especially when you're working for Yah. And when you begin to work for Yah, he will give you wisdom in your heart. He will give you wisdom in your spirit. That way it can manifest through your hands. And this wisdom, people, it's a spirit of might. It's a mightiness. It's a strength. a cunning work. And you can read the rest of that on your own time. But this is all to show you that Yahweh's mighty hand is not just about physical strength. That's what the stretched out arm is about. That strength, that muscle. Look what it says in Genesis, the 32nd chapter. See, these mighty men, even they had to have a level of wisdom. The wisdom of war. The wisdom of the battle. And this wisdom, you possess it in your hands. And there's no mystery, it's just the truth. Even the heathens know it. You can watch one of their most popular movies, The Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is all about this sword. And this sword was made with a special steel that can cut through any metal. But this sword, you put it in this hand, can't even cut through the metal. This hand can't cut through the metal. This hand can't cut through the metal. But then it get in the hand that has a certain wisdom, a certain cunning. Now the sword becomes most lethal. Praise God. Now, one who didn't have all the muscles, but got the cunning and wisdom, can beat everybody. Because they have an undefeatable weapon, well, undefeatable wisdom attached with it. Genesis, the 32nd chapter, verse 28. Excuse me, let's start at the 24th verse. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh. And to do that, you need to use your what? Your hands, right? He touched him, the hollow of his thigh. And the hollow of Yaakov's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. So this angel had to tap into his cunning. He had to tap into a different level of might in this wrestling match with our Father. And he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And he said unto him, what is thy name? And he said, Yaakov. He said, thy name shall be called no more Yaakov, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with Elohim and with men, and has prevailed. And Yaakov asked him and said, tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, wherefore is it that thou ask after my name? And he blessed him there. And so this is showing you that this man had power with Elohim and man, and prevailed through the strength not only of his hands, but also of his arms. Look what it says, to understand this a little more clear. Genesis, the 49th chapter. Genesis 49, verse 24. Start at verse 22. Yosef is a fruitful bow, even a fruitful bow by a well, whose branches run over the wall. The archers have sorely grieved him, and shot at him, and hated him. But his bow, a bow in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong. That physical strength. The arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty Elohim of Yaakov. And see, the hands of Yah, that's where Yahweh has adorned and placed his power. That's where he put his special touch. He put it in his hands. And all he had to do is send forth his spirit. And he literally would do it with his hands. He would stretch his hands out, and he would go like this, and he would touch you. And from the strength and power of his hands, you will begin to have strength and power. It says, but his bow of bold and strength, the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty Elohim of Yaakov, even by the Elohim of thy father, who shall help thee, and by the Almighty. To let you know, he's the Almighty. He the one that possesses the might, who shall bless thee with blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that lieth under, blessings of the breast and of the womb. The blessings of your father have prevailed above the blessings of my progenitors. Unto the utmost bound of the everlasting hills, they shall be on the head of Yosef, and on the crown of the head of him that was separate from his brethren. So just like a king on earth, all he had to do is lift his hand, and things start happening. He can just point his finger, and things start happening. Where do you think that they get that from? From the Almighty Yah, who lifted his hands up to heaven and said, I live forever. He lifted his hands up to heaven and said, surely, as I live, the glory of Yah shall fill this earth. So praise the mighty Yah. Let's see here. We're going to keep you at least another 10 minutes. 8:36? Okay. Go with me to Exodus, the 4th chapter. And don't worry, people, because I have some real beautiful things to point out about the mighty hand and the stretched out arm of Yah when it comes to this deliverance from Egypt. And what did Yahweh say in the book of Jeremiah, the 16th chapter? He said, it shall no longer be said, Yahweh liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But Yahweh liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he has scattered us. Yahweh has called this place Egypt. He said, I will send you into Egypt again, but by ships, because this is the house of bondage, and this is the place in whence Yahweh will deliver his people once again. And as you know, out of all Yahweh's wonders, it's all over the scriptures that these wonders are special, they're exclusive, and they're one of a kind. And we're going to bring Yahweh's wonders back to you so you can see them. Like David is a wonder of the Almighty. And it's only one David in the scriptures. It's only one David, period. There is none like him. Even those who met the status where Yahweh said, man, you got a heart like your father David, they still not a David. Just like David had a heart like Yah, but he's still not Yah. The throne is named after one man and one man only, and that's the throne of David. I don't care what kind of heart you got. A heart like David or a heart not like David is called the throne of David, and that's the name of the throne forever. There's only one David. He's a wonder of Yah. It's only one Job. He's a wonder of Yah. It's only one Daniel. It's only one Noah. It's only one nation of Israel. It's only one of these. And it's only one time that Yahweh essayed to go and take another nation from the midst of another nations by temptation, signs, wonders, and war, a mighty hand and stretched out arm, and terrors. It's only one time he did that. But this deliverance, this wonder, is the only wonder that I see Yahweh gonna do it twice. And if you understand the way of Yah, you will understand why out of all the wonders that Yahweh has done, and he never repeated them, none of them. It's only one. And he never ever repeated them and never will. But why this? Why would he repeat what he did with Egypt and said, I'm going to do it again? Well, we'll bring that to you. If you know the way of Yah, you should already know why. With that being said, people, I was taking you to Exodus, the 4th chapter, and I was going to show you the 21st verse. Where actually the 20th verse, it says, and Moses took his wife and his sons, set them upon an ass, and he returned to the land of Egypt. And Moses took the rod of Elohim in his hand. The rod of Elohim. What was the rod of Elohim? It was the same staff that he had. A staff that Moses used to shepherd the sheep that he was being a shepherd over. That same staff became the rod of Elohim. Why? Because Yahweh put his hand upon that rod. Yahweh put his hand upon Moses. Literally. Spiritually. Physically. And he sent Moses to Egypt. But we're going to get more into this, but I just wanted to show you tonight the difference between Yah's mighty hand and stretched out arm. One is dealing with strength and wisdom, and one is dealing with strength and muscle. It's physical. And we're going to get more into it. But until tomorrow night, Yahweh loves you, so do I. Shalom, shalom. Yahweh is righteous. Yahweh is holy. Let his word and his name continually be magnified. Shalom, shalom.
Keep going in the strength of Yah. Whenever I fall, he make me rise. Wipe my tears when they make me cry. Carry me on when they break my stride. Keep going in the strength of Yah. I'ma keep going in the strength of Yah. I'ma keep going, I'ma keep going, I'ma keep going in the strength of Yah. Keep going in the strength of Yah. Whenever I fall, he make me rise. Wipe my tears when they make me cry. Carry me on when they break my stride. Keep going in the strength of Yah. I'ma keep going in the strength of Yah. I'ma keep going, I'ma keep going, I'ma keep going in the strength of Yah. Have you ever been down and out? No one to look to, who can you call on? Seem like nothing is going your way, pockets turned thin, all of your cash gone. Then you face the east and hit your knees and spread your hands high to the Most High. Then he poured down a blessing too big to receive, cause he remember every time that you pay tithes. You see we all got problems, get your burdens and y'all lay down your tribulations. You see we gotta be strong and courageous like y'all commanded Joshua and Caleb. Don't nothing come easy in this world, everything that you need, best believe you gotta work for it. May have to go through the dirt for it, y'all can seal the thing, but it's a glory king steady search for it. When the lights get dark, Yahweh keeps my candle glowing on. And when things seem like they too hard to handle, I'ma stay strong. Keep going in the strength of Yah. Whenever I fall, he make me rise. Wipe my tears when they make me cry. Carry me on when they break my stride. Keep going in the strength of Yah. I'ma keep going in the strength of Yah. I'ma keep going, I'ma keep going, I'ma keep going in the strength of Yah. Keep going in the strength of Yah. Whenever I fall, he make me rise. Wipe my tears when they make me cry. Carry me on when they break my stride. Keep going in the strength of Yah. I'ma keep going in the strength of Yah. I'ma keep going, I'ma keep going, I'ma keep going in the strength of Yah. Whenever I lost someone I loved or a family member, and my heart grew cold as the snow in December, I looked to my left, then I looked to my right. No man in sight, but y'all was waiting straight ahead at the end of the light. Don't give up the fight, it's never too late as long as you got breath. And walk left for wickedness, y'all remove my steps. If I get a second chance, I'ma do my best. Be eyes to the blind, feet to the lame, a father to the poor, and I broke the jaws of the wicked. Plucked the spoil out of his dentures. When it went against them, gave hope to those ready to perish. Caused the widow's heart to sing. I put on righteousness and it clothed me as a robe and diadem. Stay strong like Joe with my Elohim. Please y'all redeem your holy seed. And those that's vain in the heart who don't think they gon' make it across, please help them see. See y'all. Keep going in the strength of Yah. Whenever I fall, he make me rise. Wipe my tears when they make me cry. Carry me on when they break my stride. Keep going in the strength of Yah. I'ma keep going in the strength of Yah. I'ma keep going, I'ma keep going, I'ma keep going in the strength of Yah. Keep going in the strength of Yah. Whenever I fall, he make me rise. Wipe my tears when they make me cry. Carry me on when they break my stride. Keep going in the strength of Yah. I'ma keep going in the strength of Yah. I'ma keep going, I'ma keep going, I'ma keep going in the strength of Yah. When the lights get dark, Yahweh keeps my candle glowing on. And when things seem like they too hard to handle, I'ma stay strong. When the lights get dark, Yahweh keeps my candle glowing on. And when things seem like they too hard to handle, I'ma stay strong. Keep going in the strength of Yah. Whenever I fall, he make me rise. Wipe my tears when they make me cry. Carry me on when they break my stride. Keep going in the strength of Yah. I'ma keep going in the strength of Yah. I'ma keep going, I'ma keep going, I'ma keep going in the strength of Yah. Keep going in the strength of Yah. Whenever I fall, he make me rise. Wipe my tears when they make me cry. Carry